the forgotten war that shaped the world. Before Europe was set ablaze, before Pearl Harbor drowned in fire, a war had already begun in the East. One so brutal, so devastating, that it would change the fate of the entire world. Its stage was China, its enemy, the rising empire of Japan, and its cost, millions of lives and a memory long buried in the shadows of history. In the 1930s, China was a fractured land. The nationalists under Chiang Kai-shek and the communists under Mao Zedong were locked in a bitter struggle for the soul of the nation. Amidst this turmoil, Japan, hungry for resources, drunk on conquest, saw its chance. It seized Manchuria in 1931 and carved out a puppet state. Each year, Japanese forces crept deeper into Chinese soil, confident the divided nation could never resist. But history often turns on small, almost trivial moments. On a warm July night in 1937, near the ancient Marco Polo Bridge outside Beijing, a Japanese soldier failed to return from a night exercise. When his comrades demanded to search the nearby town of Wanping, Chinese guards refused. Words turned to shouts, shouts to gunfire. And from that spark, a firestorm engulfed China. The Japanese advance was swift and merciless. Beijing fell. Shanghai burned after months of brutal fighting. And then came Nanjing. In December 1937, the Imperial Army descended upon the city with a cruelty that still haunts memory. Over the course of 6 weeks, between 2 lakhs and 3 lakhs souls were massacred. Soldiers, civilians, even children. Tens of thousands of women were violated. Streets ran red with blood, and Nanjing became a scar on the conscience of the world. Yet China did not surrender. Wounded, starving, forced to retreat into the vast interior, the nation endured. Guerrilla fighters harassed Japanese forces in the countryside, while millions of ordinary people, farmers, villagers, refugees paid the price of survival. The war became a stalemate. Japan could seize cities and railways, but it could not conquer China's vastness nor break its will. As the years dragged on, the world began to take notice. Stalin sent arms, unwilling to see Japan triumph. Roosevelt extended credits, oil, and supplies. And when the United States finally cut off Japan's access to vital resources, desperation pushed Tokyo toward its fateful gamble, Pearl Harbor. In this way, China's stubborn resistance, its refusal to collapse, helped set into motion the wider war that consumed the Pacific. After America entered the war, China was elevated to the rank of great power, one of Roosevelt's 4 policemen destined to guard the peace of the future world. American bombers struck Japan from Chinese soil, yet it was still the Chinese who bore the heaviest weight. 500,000 Japanese soldiers pinned down in their country, their sacrifice keeping them from other battlefields. Even Japan's massive 1944 offensive, Ichigo, could not finally break the Chinese spirit. At last, in 1945, the storm broke. Soviet armies crashed into Manchuria. The mushroom clouds rose above Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan surrendered. For the Allies, it was victory. For China, it was survival at an unbearable price. Between 12 and 20 million Chinese lay dead. 100 million had become refugees. Fields were drowned, cities shattered, entire provinces starved. Few nations suffered more, fewer still were remembered less. Yet peace proved fleeting. The fragile alliance between nationalists and communists collapsed, civil war returned, and by 1949 Mao Zedong's revolution had swept aside Chiang Kai-shek. In the heat of the Cold War, the story of China's sacrifice faded into silence, forgotten both in the West and within China itself. But history cannot be erased. The war fought on Chinese soil was not a mere sideshow, nor a forgotten corner of World War II. It was one of its beating hearts. Without China's resistance, Japan's empire might have stood longer, its reach grown wider, and the course of the global war forever altered. China stood bloodied, battered, but unbowed. And though the world seldom speaks of it, within that forgotten struggle lay the hidden foundations of Allied victory.